All
And we
right.
are live.
Yes, we are. Jackie, how are you this afternoon? It's afternoon for me. I know it's probably, I don't know, in the middle of the night for you.
It's about 7 o'clock at night, so it's not that bad.
Not too bad, not too bad. All right. Well, awesome. We have some people in the chat. Guys, let us know where you're watching us from. We're excited that you're here. Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited for today's session. I don't know about you, Jackie. We ran the same workshop last month, and the
Yeah.
reception was actually really awesome that we decided to do this on a recurring basis. So every month we're going to have a workshop sort of like this. I think it's awesome because it gives people a chance to really dig into marketing outside of just the tools, outside of just thinking about, oh, what does my website need to look like? What do my emails need to look like? All of that's important for sure. But getting the chance to just talk about marketing and think about the concepts and think about why marketing works the way it works gets us to learn, what I think is the fundamentals behind everything. So I'm really excited to get going. I can ramble on for days and days about this. So I need you and everyone in the chat to just, interrupt me if I'm going too long. Just type in like, okay, let's move it along, or something like that, and I'll make sure to keep it going, and hopefully everyone enjoys the workshop. Jackie, I'm very glad that you're here with me today, and as always, it's awesome running these workshops with you.
I feel the same with you, Pierre. It's always awesome to be here because I always learn from you. That is, we never get too old to learn. You might
Absolutely.
think that, you know what, I know it all. Even in your own specific niche, you're always going to find somebody that knows more than you do.
Yeah.
And that is so awesome. You always need to be open to new things, new experiences, new platforms, new development. And I'm so glad that Builderall is in the forefront of these things. We kind of go with it. I mean, if you think about even before AI was really becoming a thing, we had the magic text editor already in place, and now we've got the image generator as well. So I'm super excited to be here with you and learn a little bit more about marketing. And to those guys watching in the chat, if you don't know anything about digital marketing, this is the guy that knows it all. We always talk about these gurus outline, but you've been so long in marketing, and it's really awesome to just be around you and get the concept and understand what it really is about.
I really appreciate you saying that. For me, I don't consider the reason why I like sharing this information is it's I want us to stop thinking about the latest trend, the latest campaign, the latest strategy, or whatever you see a lot on social media. Marketing behaves the way it does because of the way people operate, right? So once we understand the psychology behind people, then we realize that it's always going to be the same, right? So whether you're running a TV ad or you're running a video on a YouTube ad or whatever it is, marketing is the same across time. So that's what I really want to help people understand. And with that, let me start my screen share, and we can hit the ground running here. Hi everyone here in the chat. Fox the Kiwi, thanks for hanging out with us again today. We saw you on this morning's workshop as well, so glad to see you here. All right, I'm gonna start my screen share here. Let me know when you can see my screen. All right, let's pop into this full screen view. Marketing 101, understanding effective strategies. This is what we want to do, and I want to keep this as light as humanly possible. It's not going to be a boring workshop. So let's keep it going. We're here to understand the basics, and from those basics, we are gonna crack the code and actually start thinking about marketing differently, right? We don't want to operate in a situation where something works and we don't understand why. The obvious risks are if it stops working, you don't know why it was working to begin with, so you can't fix it, right? I want to give everyone the opportunity to understand marketing outside of even Builderall, right? All of the information is going to be transferable. If you have a WordPress website, you can use the same information. It doesn't really matter. All right. Let's dig in. Start to understand what the difference is between marketing, advertising, and branding. You're going to see those terms a lot. Going to get thrown around. if anyone gets, confused by this, throw us a comment, say yes, or ask whatever questions about this as we go. Marketing is the overall strategy to connect with your customer. So marketing is that container. It contains advertising. You use branding as part of your marketing. It's the main container, okay? Advertising is the act of promoting your product or service through the various channels. So advertising is a form of marketing. That's a good way to think about it. Or as part of your marketing, you're going to use some advertising efforts, like, go on YouTube and promote your video. You can, do some social media marketing. You can create an ad on your TV. You can have a billboard outside, depending on what your marketing needs or what your business needs. You're going to use different marketing strategies and different advertising channels, or rather different ways or places to put your message, depending on where your audience is. All of this is going to make sense. Branding is that identity when people interact with your business. So what that means is it includes your logo, it includes your colors, it includes anything that's stable that people come to recognize your company with. All right. So a lot of times people say, oh, it's sort of like the personality of your business. That's a good way to make it into something that's tangible, right? So all of your branding is effectively what your customer is going to interact with. So, how your business is going to sound. Do you sound professional? Are you fun? Are you playful? If you are playful, let's say, do you have playful colors? Is your logo fun? Is it nice to look at? Does everything sort of tell the same story when people interact with your business? All of those get confused together. They get into a mishmash. I don't want you guys to get confused at all, but I want you to know the main reason why we have branding strategies is for us to advertise and promote our business effectively. All right. Does that all make sense? Should I say it again? Should I say it different? Please let me know. Jackie, what do you think? Was that clear enough? Folks in the comments?
Yeah, very clear.
Cool. I don't want you guys to sit too much here and start to theorize it too much, and we become PhD holders in the deep philosophical reasons behind branding. So we can just learn this and move on with our life and be super practical. In marketing, we have something called 4 Ps: product, place, price, promotion. Those are the fundamentals of marketing. So all of marketing relies on these 4 things that play together. What is my product? The product can be a service. If you run a charity, your product is an idea. So what are you actually trying to sell? We'll get your question, Fox the Kiwi, after this segment, okay? What is the price? What are my people paying? How do I set a price that's competitive? How do I become the most profitable while also giving people a lot of value? The 3rd P is place. So this is really where I'm promoting. If you're a clothing brand, do you have your own retail space, or do you sell inside of Walmart, for example? That's a good understanding of place. Do you sell direct to consumer online? Do you just have your website, or do you sell through Amazon? All of these are examples of place. Like, how am I actually getting my product or service into the hands of the customer? Can they find me easily? Does it make sense to look for me where they look for me? If I'm let's say I create a sort of hardware tool, it's a better idea to promote at Home Depot rather than open my own store, right? Because Home Depot already has that target audience coming through. So that's just a good example of how to use place. And promotion, let's tie this back into the idea of advertising in a previous slide. Where am I promoting my product? How am I offering, and what are the channels? This is part of my promotional strategy, okay? Another part of promotional strategy could be, do I run discounts? Do I do things like annual promos? get into all of that. But I want you guys to think about, what is my product? What is the price? Where am I selling it? And how am I selling it? And you guys can grab a screenshot of this slide before we move on. Toxic Kiwi, let's grab this question real quick. Should every business create a brand? What if I'm just an affiliate marketer selling other people's products? Not every business should create a brand in terms of like a unique identity, your own logo, and start to teach people who you are. What's going to happen organically is you are going to create your own brand organically without you doing anything about it. People are going to like the way you communicate with them. They're going to like how you send emails and what your workshops look like, for example. All of those touch points, if you do things and try to really be authentic with yourself, you're going to find your own way of speaking to people that people are going to respond to. All right. You're going to create inadvertently, organically, you're going to create a brand for yourself. So I don't really want you to worry about that. If you're an affiliate marketer and you just promote a few products, you're going to create that brand all by yourself without really thinking about it too much. All right. So if you don't want to do the investment, the logo, the website, all of this extra stuff, totally fine. Don't even worry about it. All right. A lot of businesses don't even think about their brand. Cool. Seth Godin says, marketing is no longer about the stuff you make, but about the stories you tell. There's this thing that goes out in the world, like, everything has sort of been done before, right? We've seen a lot of the same versions of things, the same products, the same types of products, a lot of competition. Almost all of the marketplaces that we see are going to be saturated, right? What's going to set you apart is no longer the product. All right. It's no longer about, oh, I have this extra button or I have this extra capability. It's really about who you stand for. Are you able to tell a compelling story about why your brand is better? Give people a reason why to invest with you versus invest with your competition. I'll give you guys a quick example. Let's say I make slip-on like shoes. All right. And my competitor makes also slip-on shoes. They're made out of the same material. They're the same thickness. They're the same level of comfort. We operate in the same way. But my competitor has an extra story that they add onto their product that says, every time you buy one of my slip-on shoes, I donate a pair of slip-on shoes to children in Africa. They're going to win because people are going to connect with that story. They're going to want to help. They're going to say, okay, if these two products are the same, I'm going to donate to the one, or I'm going to give my money to the one that's going to do good for, X cause or Y initiative or whatever it is. All right. So you can take that example and run with it. The power of storytelling cannot be underrated. All right, let's move on before I start with another example. For us to tell the story accurately, what we need to do is understand who's listening to our story, right? Jackie, if you and I are one-on-one, I'm going to act and I'm going to tell my story very different than if we were in a group of 100 people, or if it was with someone else. So I need to understand who I'm listening to, who's receiving my message. And then from there, I can tell the right story. And I can even tell the same story, but in the right way, right? How many times have we told the same story to different people? And with some people, you capture their hearts, they connect on all sorts of levels. But then you say the same story in the same way to someone else or to another group, and it just falls flat. That's just because people are different. They're going to react to different things. As marketers, this is how we start to connect the mind and the heart, right? The psychology starts to come in. Who is my target audience? Here we start with defining the target audience. I need to create a very clear picture of this person. Create a persona, create a human being with a name, with a face, give them attributes. Understand what their hobbies are, what makes them tick, really get to know them like they're your friend. then you go to identify their problems. Once you have a really beautiful, clear idea of who they are, then you identify their problems. You say, okay, these are the things that my product can solve or my service can solve for this specific target audience. Once you recognize the issues, that leads to creating solutions that deeply affect behavior. You know, when someone sees a solution, it's going to say, oh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. You know, I'll give you guys an example. Let me just grab a drink of water here. I recently purchased Swiffers. I don't know if you know what Swiffers are, Jackie, but it's a brand of cleaning products here in the U.S. And they have this disposable duster, right? That you have, and you can, you know, it has replacement dusting, you know, cloths, I guess, that you replace, and you just keep the handle, and you just keep buying the duster itself. And I don't know about you, but every week, every time I go to clean my house, it's like the most dreadful thing for me. I hate dusting. It's such a tedious thing because you go around, you have the cloth, and you're walking around with this pail, and it has soap and water, and you spill sometimes. It's just a bad deal for me. All right. I saw these at the store. I immediately purchased them. You put them on, you put the duster on the handle, and you go around and you dust, and it does a beautiful job. And then at the end, you take the duster off, you throw it in the trash, and you never think about it again. Okay. Job done. Problem solved. That relates to me on so many levels. I do it faster. It's more efficient. I don't mess around with water and, whatever cloth I'm using, the soap, all that stuff. They've identified a problem. It connects very easily. Whatever it was expensive too. It was more than I'd ever pay for something like that, like 15 whole entire dollars for, five replaceable cloths and a plastic handle, which is way more than what they paid. But because it solved my problem, I bought it immediately. The third point here would be understanding the buying behavior. I need to analyze how my customers make these purchasing decisions, right? So this goes back to what the product is and how I position it, but also when I understand how and where the audience or my persona is ready to buy, then I can really effectively tell my story in the right place when the customer is ready. All of that sounds a lot to kind of take in, but all of it is going to become really tangible once I give you guys a few tips to think about it. All right. The only tip I'm actually going to give here before we move on is put yourself in the customer's shoes and really be honest. Really be honest. Ask yourself, would I buy this? Would I buy this in this way? And if the answer is no, you're not going to trick people to giving you their money. You're not going to go, you're not going to grow your business if that's the way you're approaching it. You really want to make it easy, fast, approachable. You want to make it a no-brainer. All right. So once you kind of dial in on these three, I want you guys to really try to write it down and be brutally honest with yourself. If the answer is no for you, then likely the answer is also no for your customer. All right.
You know what, Pierre? I was just thinking now, I have had people before saying, when it comes to they've created their product, it's solving a solution, and now they need to decide on a price kind of thing. And I tend to think about it this way. If I see a product that can really solve my problem, I literally don't see the price anymore. Right. It's more of, if this thing can solve this issue that is giving me a headache, I would actually almost go for the higher price than the lower one, because it's that idea of I'm buying value because the price fits the problem that is being solved. So I don't think that, I think when you get to know your audience and you really know that you are solving their problem, I do think that you can really have a price that is not way too low, where people say, oh, you know what, this is almost too good to be true kind of thing. How can you, it makes people kind of doubt whether you have got the best product. So I do think that people need to understand that when you do know your audience and you are identifying a problem, that you should make sure that your price fits
Yeah,
fits whatever you are selling.
that's a great thing. Maybe we can talk about that real quick, guys. In the comments, who's familiar with value-based pricing, otherwise known as customer-based, consumer-based, consumer-centric pricing? Yes, show of hands. Let's see those hands in the comments. Any hands? So what that is you price your product or service based on what the customer is willing to pay, not on what you paid. Because what you paid doesn't matter. You solved the problem, you went through R&D, you created the product, you prototyped, you did all the work. Even if it costs you $2 landed for the actual product, it's still, if it's worth $100 for the customer, you should be pricing it at $100. What you paid for it has zero bearing on what you price your product. Okay, and I want everyone to really think about it. This is the part where a lot of business owners, a lot of agency, especially with the service-based industries, if you go to say your price and you think to yourself, oh no, that's way too high, and then you give a lower price, I need you to look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a big hug. You don't deserve that. Don't say no to yourself. What are you doing? You're pre-negotiating yourself with the customer. It makes no sense, and it actually makes me very sad. So I want you to stop doing that immediately. Okay? And I say this, with all love and respect in my heart, because I want people to do well. And obviously I get nothing out of this, me sharing this. I want you guys to price your product based on what your customer is willing to pay, not what you're comfortable asking for. Okay? Write that down. That's a nugget of information. What they're willing to pay, not what you're asking for. I can do a website for $1,000, or I can do the same website for $10,000. It's all about the customer that I have. All right, and plenty of people, you hear about this a lot. Before I'm gonna move on before I ramble and start going into like the logo example. How much money do you think Nike paid for their logo? Probably, I don't know, $100,000, 200, 300, who knows, right? And the same logo, you could look at it and say, oh, it's super basic, whatever. But it matters because the value they're delivering, or that designer is delivering to this business, is far greater than their time or any of that stuff. So value-based pricing. Let's talk about the nitty-gritty. Rubber is gonna hit the road right here. Okay, I want you guys to stop and ask me questions, whatever it is, because we're gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna go through the basic channels of digital marketing. Your questions are highly encouraged. Okay, these are live Q&As for a reason. It's way more comfortable for me to just record this and throw it on YouTube and have people record it. That's not what we want, right? The fact that me and Jackie are here, we want you to ask questions. So ask questions, don't be shy. Okay, cool. Let's talk about websites. So your basic channels for digital marketing, obviously there's way, way, way more channels here to think about. These are the 4 that I think are going to be the most asked about. If you guys want to see different content, we can expand, we can talk about it, no problem at all. Everyone needs a website, should have a website. Everyone should have social media presence. Everyone should have email marketing set in place, and everyone could consider paid ads. All right, and I'm very careful with that wording because not everyone needs paid ads, and for some people, paid ads don't even work. For some businesses, it's not even going to work, or investing in something more local can be more worth it, right? Spending $1,000 on paid ads doesn't get you too far, but say spending $1,000 on flyers that you hand out in the neighborhood around your business will get you way more business than any paid ads would in that environment, right? Think of your local pizza place. They don't run ads, they don't run paid ads for a reason. They have a radius that they can cover with a way cheaper channel. All right, that's just an easy example of something that you might think you need, but in reality you don't. Let's talk about a website. Building a strong online presence. Your website is gonna live online forever. It's gonna be kind of that source. I know in today's day and age, a lot of it is covered by the Google AI and all the AI tools. I don't want you guys to worry about that. Your website is going to remain your voice to the world. All right. So however you get people to the website, people trust that, okay, I'm on this company's website, I'm on this business's website. You know, the information there is them speaking to me, to the customer. It's not, you know, there's no mediator, there's nothing in between you and the business directly. So I want you to think about that as like a foundation of why a website is really important as part of your marketing kind of ecosystem. I want to take a few seconds here. Jackie, would you mind taking a few minutes, literally just like 5 minutes, and just bring us a really fast, quick demo of Builderall's tool? Obviously, if you have your website built somewhere else, or if you want to build your website somewhere else, all of the information that we're giving today works 100%. But showing you how the Builderall website builder is really accessible, especially if you're not a developer, you're not a designer, but you like to think creatively. The website builder that we offer at Builderall is a beautiful tool.
Great. Let me do that quickly. All right, so I'm going to do a very quick overview with regards to the builder. And just like Pia said earlier, it is the hub where all your information is going to reside. It's basically your voice out there. So it is a good idea to always make sure that you learn the basics. All right, so that's what I'm going to show you today, is to get started. Now, the very first thing, once you get into the builder from the tools area, you're going to go and click a new website. All right, so there is a variety of ways in creating a website inside of Builderall. You can make use of existing templates that you see right here. And there is really multiple different kinds of templates that you can choose from for your specific niche. These templates you can use and modify them. It doesn't mean that what you see is set in stone. You can change and adjust. And what is nice about it, it gives you a kind of a layout as to the importance, because it has been created. Every single one of these has been created with the idea of making sure that it converts. Things like an action button that needs to be above the fold, things like that, you know, very marketing orientated type of thing. And you guys can always watch us on our Template Tuesdays where we talk about these things. But there is lots of different ones that you can choose here that's already been created for you. If you are bold enough to do your own thing, you're going to click on select to create your own one from scratch. Now, while that is loading, I'm just going to show you some examples that we've created from inspiration from the internet, out of our own, from starting from scratch, just to give you an idea of what you can create with Builderall. And this was one of the things that we've created a few weeks ago. And you can see that this is really top notch. It is not something that you're going to find and think, well, you know what, my site is not up to par. You can really create beautiful things. Our template is something like this, also very good looking site. This is a template, and it's basically a landing page to collect leads. So you can see that we do not do just websites. If you are wondering about it, we also do sales funnels. A sales funnels, a landing page, a website, you can call it whatever you like. We offer that. Now, still, if you are one of those people that say, well, Jackie, I don't want to use an existing template and I don't want to design from scratch, you can use placeholders. So right here, you can see I've just deleted the panel that was there because I want to explain to you a very important factors right here quickly. And that is, what is a panel and what is an element? A panel is basically something that you're going to add to the page. And I'm going to do that by clicking on blank panel. And you're going to see there is a blue line. You can build anything inside of this panel. It is a good idea to always make sure that your most important information resides at the top of the panel, which is a call to action button, something like that, or a very good headline to get the person to make a call or an action. Now, the reason why we say that is because many people do not scroll to the bottom of a site unless they really need to have reassurance. So I'm not going to go into the marketing type of stuff here. The whole idea here is to just show you quickly what you can do with the builder. So I've just deleted that panel again because I want to show you that there is other ways of creating a template for yourself. So under the panel area below the blank panel, you'll find different kinds of panels that you can add to the page to give you a layout that you can adjust and change. So let's say I want to go with business banner that starts at the very top. Now you can see that there's multiple ones you can choose from. So if I click on it, you're going to see that it's been created already for me at the top of the page, and I would be able to change and adjust it. Now, every single element, these are elements that has been placed on the top panel. Every element that you see here, that is text, that is a headline, this is a box, and this is a panel. All of them can be adjusted, and you can see there is elements. So if I right click, it opens up the panel's elements, and you would be able to change the sizes, the arrows, the height, the panel, background settings, the color, the way you want it to be. If you want it to be fixed, if you want to add animation, if you want to add videos, parallax effects, you can see that there is really so much that you can do with each and every single element that you find within the builder. So if we take a look at the different type of elements you can add to a page, you can start with text. There is accordion. Accordion is basically when somebody click on it. It's very good for Q&A sessions, like a question and answer type of thing. You can use an accordion. You've got animated elements, which is these numbers that runs. Let's say, for instance, you're a service-based. It's very good to have it in a service-based. I've got so many clients, successful clients or happy clients, and it will run a number according to what you are setting it to be. So there is a variety of different types that you can use. There's big menus, blog features. If you did not know, we can have a full-blown blog that you can add to your website. Then we've got the booking that you can add. We've got multiple tools inside of Builderall that integrate with our web builder 100% seamlessly. It is not like a plugin that you will find on WordPress that needs to be updated regularly. It is already there. It's integrated. You just drag and drop it onto your system or in your panel and pick up that booking that you've created. Then we've got some beautiful features that you can use. This week, actually, earlier today, we played around with the Bucks Hover. You guys must go check it out on the Template Tuesday. That was so much fun. And then we've got the Super Checkout is our e-commerce kind of thing, is where you can sell your products or your services or your digital products or even physical products. And you can connect your bank accounts from PayPal, Molly, Stripe. We've got a variety that you can choose from. Contact forms, your email marketing, which is so important to generate those leads.
Sorry to jump in, Jackie, because I think you're touching on a really awesome point that I really want to drive home for everyone listening. You can go to any of the I don't know, hundreds of website builders out there, Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, all of the big ones we know, and a whole bunch of ones we don't know. What you're going to get is just a website builder. What we're trying to do at Builderall, and this is just, it goes to like the philosophy behind everything. We want to give you one place, one subscription, one area that works together, brings in your emails, brings in your website, it brings in your calendar booking, it brings in your checkout tools, all of these things into one place, one affordable subscription that gives you a whole bunch of tools that are all really powerful that help you create one single story across your whole business. The last thing you want to do is start to worry about plugin this broke and that code, you know, is doing something different than it was intended. And, you know, I sneezed next to my computer and now my website is down, or some wacky thing like that. We want you to focus on actual business, actual marketing. And it looks like a really easy to use website builder that connects to social media tools that we're going to talk about next, website builder tools that we're going to talk about next. And we're going to show you how you can put together that narrative that also matches the human psychology, right? So how people are
Absolutely.
so we're gonna drive that in. Jackie, I wanted to just show everyone the newly released AI image generator. So if you want,
Absolutely.
it's okay. If I can put you on the spot, you can change this exact panel background, and we can open up that AI image generator
Yes.
right in here and give it a prompt and change that image before we head back into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was my next job. My next jump is to say that when you said that you don't need to leave the platform because everything is inside of Builderall, you don't have to
Mhm.
jump around. Now, besides our Magic Text Editor, and I'm just going to show you right here at the top, you'll see Magic Text Editor, which means is it can write your content. Now you can create your images, which means you do not need to leave the platform. It's not closing every single tab, log into an account, make a payment.
Right.
Everything is happening right inside of the platform now. And that's why I said earlier, we are really in the forefront. We make sure that we keep these things updated as these things happen. All right, so I'm just going to go quickly and show you how we are going to change this panel image. So like I said, I right click because we are going to work with the element for this panel where it says change image. We're going to click on change image, and then we're going to click AI builder. You guys can see that we've got the AI builder in that area. Now, before I continue now with this, I want you guys to understand that AI can only create images according to the prompt that you give them. If you're going to give them a prompt that doesn't make sense or is very limited and not descriptive, you're not going to get a good result. And the more detailed you give, the more better the result is going to be. So I've just grabbed some type of thing here that says create a vibrant cartoon style digital marketing scene bursting with bright colors. In the center, show a playful oversized funnel labeled lead generator, which sparkly leads like stars or gems cascading. You can see I have given it quite a huge description.
All right. I'm
I'm
curious
very,
to see what it's going to look
I'm
like.
very
Let's
curious to see it as well. So I want to say the size of the image should be 1920 by 600 pixels. I've never done it by giving it a size, and because it's a background, I'm very interested to see if it's actually going to create it. So I'm going to go with the landscape, which is the biggest one, and I'm going to hit generate, and we're going to see what is it going to come up with. I am really, really stoked to know what it's going to give us.
While this is buffering, I want to say this is going to be accessible whichever tool you're on. You're going to be able to access this business toolkit, and it's going to have all your images, all your AI creations, all your files right in one place. I like what it came up with.
Yes, I'm going to go back to the files because I wanted to show you guys that it doesn't matter what images it creates, it brings it back and it adds all of them into your account so that you can use it later on other sites as well. So let's say if I click that one, then you're going to see that is what it has created for us.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Very brightly, colorful, just like I said, it needed to create that very colorful effect. So like I said, with the panel, you can go change and adjust it. It did give us this big size because we asked for a big size. But if you wanted to, you could have made this even a better prompt by asking it to place it in the middle of the panel. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to descriptions. Descriptions is really, really important. So before I do the last bit on this, showcasing, I'm not going to go through every single element. You guys can see that we can really do a lot. I just want to tell you a very important thing. If you start your website the very first time on Builderall, make sure you're going to go to the global elements and you are going to create your font type that you want to use, your font sizes for H21, H22, 3, 4, 5, up to 6, as well as the paragraph. And also you can choose the color scheme. It's going to save you a lot of time because now you don't have to go and drag something, click on it, go to the text editor and change it because it's happened automatically for you. If you make mistakes, like if I delete this by mistake, we've got the undo button right here at the top that's going to help us to do an undo. So there is a lot of things extra with inside the builder that you guys can take a look at. It is not just what you see here. There is a lot more. You can also go to mobile, which is going to give you the mobile version that you can build your mobile before you build your desktop. And that is something that you can't do on other platforms. You can't decide, like for example, WordPress. You do not have the opportunity to hide and change and adjust elements, but you can do that on our mobile. You can literally build mobile first and then build your desktop, which is probably a good idea because most people are on mobile. So that's basically the summary of that. I don't want to keep too long into that section.
Well, I do want to say before we dig in this next section, I want to just give people, we have a starter pack going. If you use the promo code marketing101 at checkout on any plan, you're going to get 30% off every month for 3 months, and you'll get access to a starter pack, what we're calling the starter pack, 3 social media templates, 1 for static posts, 1 for carousel reels, and 1 for YouTube thumbnail. We're going to give you a link in bio page as a template, a comment autoresponder template, so that, you know, when people say, and we'll go through this in a second here, when people say, hey, you know, write this comment in the bio and I'll send you my ebook, you know, that's that can be implemented right in the platform. Mailing boss template for your emails, and your booking builder for your calendar invites, so that you can give people a link and they go through and sign up to get like a one-on-one session with you or a webinar or whatever it is. So all of that's going to be as part of the starter pack. Cool. Let's move on from the website, talk about social media. Your social media platform is beyond crucial. Okay. I want you guys to, if you're not on social media, get on social media. If you're, you know, you don't have to chase a trend. You don't have to, I don't know, open a TikTok account and start dancing. You know what I mean? You can actually just create short clips of whatever it is that you're doing, just your business. People love that stuff. I can't tell you guys how many videos of chefs just cooking, just talking about food, roofers talking about roofing, you know, people who just, whatever it is that they're doing, an authentic 60, 90-second video can connect with your audience. And you can, if it goes viral, you have so many eyeballs that you're like guaranteed to get your target audience in there. All right. But I don't want you to worry about going viral. I want you to worry about being authentic, putting out content that you actually care about, that you enjoy, that you think is fun or funny or whatever it is, and start engaging with people. Today is the best day and age to start your business and use social media. All right. Completely underrated. So if you're not on it, get on it immediately. We have some tools that we use on Builderall. Here, let's try to show you a couple. We have tools on the Builderall platform that support your social media efforts. Okay, with the website builder, we have a template for that link in bio page, so that when people go into your bio, you can have a homepage that's sort of like a bridge page. Here, let's see if I can show you the Builderall version of it. Let's see if I remember. Here we go. So this is it, and it's really intended to be mobile. So I'm gonna like shrink this down. I'm gonna shrink this down. The font is not loading because my internet connection is being weird. But this is a quick page. Imagine if you were on mobile, someone gets here from your social media, they have a quick FAQ, right? What is Builderall? New templates every week. Try Builderall for free workshops. And if someone isn't sure which plan to choose, we give them this quiz, which, as you guessed, it is also built on the Builderall platform. But I don't want to talk about that too much. So from your social media, I want you guys to close your eyes and imagine. From your social media, you have a page that goes to your link in bio. If you want to connect your comments, your comment autoresponder, you can do that very, very nicely right in here. You connect your Facebook, and I think I have one connected already. Here, let me pull up a second account. with this connected. But what this is essentially is exactly like you see people saying, hey, type the word Builderall in the comments and I'll send you a link, or I'll respond and I'll give you my ebook, whatever it is. This tool, very, very easy to implement, and you can just have it be right in here. I'm not going to mess around too much. Jackie, would you mind showing us here? You can cue this up in the background while I continue talking. And what I want you guys to think about is the flow that people are going to use to get to your things, your assets that live online. Okay, so people are going to see me first on social media. They're going to see my reel, and then on my reel, I'm going to say link in bio, or I'm going to say, write ebook in the comments, and I'll send you my ebook, whatever it is. That's an example. And when people go in and type ebook, we have the system exactly like, I think ManyChat is the biggest one. This comment autoresponder does that immediately. When they type in ebook, you can set it up to send them, and it's actually really easy to use. The landing page is just a normal web page that you use that's mobile first, like Jackie mentioned, and it gives you all of the crucial things that you need to get people from that social media content back to your website or back into your business. And that's what I want you guys to think about. It's all about a flow. If you create a website and no one sees it, it doesn't matter, right? How many of us have created websites and no one sees them and they don't matter? Show of hands. I'm raising my hand because I'm probably the most guilty of this. But I want you guys to, whatever website you use social media to drive traffic back to it. And we'll talk about the essentials here. After people land on your website, you're going to grab their information, right? You're going to say, hey, give me your email and I'll send you my book, or give me your email, I'll give you a discount of a certain percentage. Whatever it is, you want to drive people to get you that email nurture component. Give me your contact information so that I can continue to build a relationship with you, right? And it's not about, grabbing people's emails that don't want to talk to you. That's why if anyone in the comments comes up and says, hey, I've used cold emails before and they don't really work, of course they don't work. They're not supposed to work, right? Because this person didn't ask you to send them information. They didn't ask to talk to you. So you want to drive value and you want people to engage with your content and finally give you their contact information for you to use as an email. So what we have here, we've created a scenario where people see you on social media. From your social media, they're driven to your website. And from your website, you collect their information. Now think of WhatsApp groups, think of contact information that you get from your website. It all behaves in the same way that email marketing does. We're going to get to the psychology of this in a couple slides. So we're going to really understand why email works the way it does. All right. So that would be kind of like the flow, right? Social media into your website, and then from your website, you get their contact information and you continue to nurture that relationship. You send them cool things, you send them funny things, you send them tips, you send them tricks, you send them a daily newsletter, you send them discounts. It all depends on what you're selling. All right. But I know that you guys have questions about this. So drop them in the comments and I'll get that answer to you after this section. Let's talk about paid ads real quick. You want to maximize your reach, your conversions, you want to maximize impressions. It all depends on what you're trying to do. Paid ads give us a chance to speed the process up in a lot of ways. So that's why I have it last, and that's why I always say it could work, it could not work. If your marketing strategy, that overall story that you are building with your customer, if it makes sense organically, you should advertise that same flow. If it doesn't make sense organically, do not pay money to advertise it, because it's not going to work, because there's something flawed in on a deeper sense. If traffic is your problem, then you should by all means pay money to get ads. But if conversions or some other issue is your problem, paid ads are not gonna fix it. If anything, paid ads will make it worse, right? If you have any like weaknesses in your marketing funnel, paid ads might expose that further. Okay, so I want you guys to think about getting a good return on investment for all of your activity, but especially with your paid ads. All right, and the only way to do that is if you get, you know, a really nice organic flow first that you then can pay money to boost. We have some tools that help you with your paid ads on Builderall. We have a URL shortener. A lot of times people will give you these huge links because they add UTM tags, parameters. Those, if you don't know what those are, we can explain that later. Just let me know in the comments. But if you do, I'm just going to move on. A lot of times when you add UTM parameters in the URL, you get this gigantic link that people are like, you know, first of all, it looks really bad when you share. Second of all, it makes people really weary because it has all of like this mumbo jumbo at the end, and they're not going to click on it and give you their social security information. You know, so we offer this URL shortener, really cool tool. You can grab this very long link that you have. This is an example here. This is a very long link, and you can give it a title, you know, long link for campaign, whatever your campaign is. And then you can customize your link here. And let's say marketing 101. This is what I'm going to call it. Okay. And I'm going to save. And what we're going to see, oh, it's already being used in this marketing. Let's just do the word marketing because that link was being used. I don't understand what's happening. Okay, let me refresh.
We probably used it when we wanted to on the main Builderall account. We used it as well.
Yeah.
That's why.
You're right. You're right. So let me edit. Let me do something like
You can say marketing 101 June.
And tell. Here we go.
Title.
All right, my bad. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so I have the name. This is for me. This is internal. And then you're going to see here, this now says PA or show and tell. All right. And I can, when I share the link, I can just give people this. All right. I can copy it. And when I paste it into my URL, I want everyone to pay attention. When I paste it into my URL, it's going to expand into that full link. It's going to have all the information that I want. And it's going to also tell me how many people clicked. It's going to give me some quick analytics here for me to tell if this link is successful or not. And you can actually use this. To track really quickly how your social media campaigns are doing, for example, or your link, you know, depending on where you put your links, you can just have them come back here and you'll have a really quick link and, you know, a long list of all of the URLs that you have out there in the world that people are clicking on. You have all the analytics. You can see how many people clicked them. All of that comes back here. Really cool way for you to promote. And you can use all of this stuff for your paid ads. All right, let's go back here and actually get to some psychology here. I know everyone is excited to talk about this. I personally love talking about this. I have a second degree. I studied marketing at university, and then I did another degree, a minor degree in psychology. So this is a personal passion of mine. Let's talk about how marketing directly kind of meshes into psychology. Before I do, Jackie, do you have anything to say? Do you want? Because I feel like I've been yapping for a minute, and I'm
no. It's good. It's good information, and it's information that people need to know, and it is a has to know. And anyways, before you actually jump in and start doing anything, people need to understand that.
So we talked a lot about all of the different channels, all of marketing, advertising, branding, all that stuff. What we're doing here is we're driving everything home. Okay, so if everyone, you know, if you got sleepy, let's sit up. You know, if you're low on caffeine, grab another sip of your coffee, because we're about to have this whole thing come together, and it's going to make a lot of sense. Awareness, interest, desire, and action, in that order, is the way our brains work. Okay, every time I go to make a decision, My brain goes through stages of awareness, interest, desire, action. In that order, whatever the decision is, we can make this very complicated, but I'm going to keep it super simple. Whatever the decision is, your brain, everyone's brain, automatically goes through the AIDA principle. AIDA, AIDA, awareness, interest, desire, action. And I want you guys to never forget this. This is the foundational cornerstone behind all of marketing. This is where psychology and marketing mesh together, and this is where they fuse. Because this is the way people's brains operate when they go to make decisions, as a marketer, I want to address all of these points step by step, very simple, because I'm trying to persuade someone to make a decision, right? You see, it all makes sense all of a sudden. All right. I get their awareness by creating a really nice headline, beautiful visuals, all of, whatever I need to do on that first top of funnel, high level, broad approach to tell people, hey, I exist, or hey, you have this problem and I have this solution. That makes people stop for a second, right? Now they're interested. The second they stop, now they're interested. When they're interested, I say, this is your problem. I've seen it before. I've solved this issue before, and this is how I've done it. Then they're interested. Then they ask you something like, okay, tell me more. All right. When they do that, they just showed desire. I want to solve this problem. That's what it comes back to. Remember in the beginning of our workshop, we said, understand who your customer is and understand their problem. This is where everything connects together. This is me telling my target audience, I can solve your problem. And they're obviously going to say, how, right? How are you going to solve my problem? I show them, or I give them testimonials, or, I give them a case study, whatever it is that I need to show. And it might not be a complicated problem. I'll give you a simple example. If you're hungry, but not like enough to go have dinner, a snack brand can say, a healthy, low-calorie way to satisfy your hunger. Okay, done. It solved a bunch of problems for me. I'm hungry. I don't want it to be like 1,000,000 calories, and I want it right now, right? So, it makes it super easy. So it doesn't have to be like, buying a house every time. You're going through due diligence and you're doing all sorts of the extra things. So the second they show desire, back to here, awareness, interest, desire. The last step is action. So many people get people's awareness and they drive interest and they make people desire their product. Like, please tell me how I can give you my money and solve my problem. And they don't give them a clear or an easy way to make that conversion. And it just throws everything down the drain. But I'm going to tell you a bigger problem. This customer no longer goes back to living their life because you did all the hard work of making them aware of their problem and telling them, hey, there's a solution and I can help you solve it. What are they going to do once they have that desire, but they can't convert with you? They're going to go to your competitor and they're going to give them their money.
I have to jump in here, Pierre, because what you've just said actually happened with me this week.
Uh-oh.
And that's why I'm so excited while you are talking about all of this. Not my product. I was the one looking for a product.
Okay.
And obviously, we know how marketing and paid ad works. You start making a search, and then they start hitting you with the ads because you showed interest.
Right.
And I've actually gone into a person's website, and they had a fantastic website convincing me that I have a problem and that they can actually solve it. And great testimonials, everything was perfect. But there was this little something that just didn't gel with me. And at the end of the day, I actually purchased from somewhere else and not from these people whose ad I actually clicked on Facebook, which means they've paid for that click on Facebook, but they've lost me as a client because there was something wrong on their funnel. So that is exactly what you've done. That is what I've experienced this week. So people lost that sale and I purchased somewhere else.
There you go. Easy as that. You spend all this investment with the time, with the effort, doing all the things to get this customer to the finishing line, and you can't get them over it. So I want you guys to really think about how easy it is, or how this customer is going to take that final action. And a lot of times, I'll give you guys an example. It's not always about easy. It's about being clear with what the next step is. Because sometimes if you're an agency and you have, let's say, a one-on-one call that you schedule, that's not a fast way to do things. It's not an easy way to do things, but it's required, because if, let's say, the client isn't willing to book a call, then you don't want to meet with them anyway. So sometimes the action itself is like a strategic decision on whether or not, let's say you're getting a lot of tire kickers, they're not ready to, pull the trigger. So you want to make it a little bit harder for people to, let's say, find you and get on a one-on-one call. That's just a quick example. Yeah.
And I think the AIDA principle, that's why it's so important to know who your audience are.
Absolutely.
Because if you do not know your audience, how are you going to create that awareness, the interest, the desire, and the action, if you do not step into the shoes of your audience and maybe do proper research and understanding who they are, so that you can create the right content for it?
Absolutely. That's it. That's actually exactly why I started the presentation talking about identifying who our target audience is and doing all of that for us to get here. Because exactly like you just said, Jackie, you cannot fulfill these without understanding who your target audience is. All right, cool. So we're about to wrap up here. I'll mention it again. Marketing 101 is the promo code. Any plan, go into Builderall / checkout, or just go into builderall.com and hit that plans button. Find the plan that's right for you. Try it out. Use the promo code Marketing 101. You're going to get 30% off every month for 3 months. You can leave after the first month. That's fine. It's not a contract or anything like that. Every month for 3 months, you'll get 30% off, and you'll get the marketing starter kit that we went through. You're going to get 3 social media templates, beautifully designed by our very own designers, which do a beautiful job every time. Link in bio page that you can go in and just update your information, add your picture, and you're done. Comment autoresponder. We're going to show you how to set that up, how to have it be whatever you need it to be. If it's a link or an ebook or whatever it is, all of that is going to be included. Website builder template, an email marketing template under Mailing Boss, and a booking builder template. We'll set you up so that you're not starting off overwhelmed. You want to start, let's say you have a business and you want to start with that online presence. You don't know where to start. This is a great place to start. Is it the end all be all? It's definitely not. But it is exactly like it's named. It is the starter pack that'll get you going. You can start creating your social media, sending people to that landing page, taking them to your website, and then nurturing them further with email marketing and with that booking builder for you to get on a one-on-one call. Jackie, it's been an hour. Yes.
You know what? I just want to say the last thing before they go. If you guys are struggling, you're thinking, this is a little bit overwhelming, I'm not going to understand and remember all of this, go out there and go do a very logical search on the internet. Something very, very straightforward. Let's say printable diaries or printable planners. And I'm just giving you a roughly idea. And then watch what happens in your Facebook and the ads that's been given to you. Look at the ad copy that's been sent. Click on the buttons. Go through those people's funnels. See what they do. That is how we learn and remember, and try to identify the AIDA principles during that whole process and analyze those people's websites. Because that is how mostly people that are doing paid advertising is people that has been there, they've done that, and they've basically mastered it by now. So do yourself a favor and go through those processes, because that's the best way in learning, and make notes. And then eventually when you're ready, you can start creating your things with the notes at hand. That's going to help you a lot.
Love it. I'm going to put this up. Guys, before we leave, I want everyone to screenshot this. And like Jackie said, in your day-to-day life, identify these. Say, okay, I'm on this company's website, or I see this ad. It has my awareness. What's the next step? And then follow it through. You'll get a crash course in marketing, and you'll start to see all the patterns that will help you grow your business.
And they actually say, once you see it, you'll never unsee it.
Right. Yeah. Amen to that. If you have any questions, we'll leave a couple more minutes here. I think we covered most of them. If you have any questions, now's the time. Drop them in. It's a live Q&A. Whatever it is that you're wondering, we can give you an answer right here, right now.
And you guys don't have to stress if you are looking and say, okay, well, I want to sign up with Builderall, but I don't know where to start because I can see there's a lot of tools. I'm going to feel overwhelmed. You don't need to be overwhelmed. We've got weekly sessions where you can join us live in those sessions. You can raise your questions inside the Facebook groups. We are really, really hands-on. You can even have access to myself on Mondays at 10 a.m. EST time, where you can join me live in a session, and we can even go through your website if you want to be sure that you are doing the right thing or you don't know how something is linking. We do not want you guys to be in the dark. That's not the idea. The idea is to help you get your business up and running as quickly as possible so that you can start earning an income.
Awesome. All right. Cool. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for your time today. Everyone in the comments, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I see most people are still hanging out, so that's cool. That's it for our time. So if no one has any more questions, we'll hop off. Hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are, and we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye, guys.
See ya.